Okay, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg, and welcome back to Hanging with Mangg. Yeah, so I guess we're just gonna play some Secret of Evermore, because it's been like a year since I played this, right? It was one of the earlier Hanging with Manggs that I played this, I remember. And I really didn't know what else to play today. I didn't really want to do Dark Souls again, because I just did, but I could have. And I don't know. I'm kind of just waiting till Assassin's Creed comes out next week. And then November, there's a lot of stuff, so there's not a whole lot right now. Yeah, so on the channel this week, we did some Until Dawn and some Stasis as our kind of horror selection. A bit more Until Dawn than Stasis, which is usually indicative of how I feel about a game. But I don't think it's really a big secret that I really like Until Dawn. We also did a Soma stream, which was kind of interesting because almost nobody showed up to the Soma stream. I think we had like 2 people. 1 or 2. It really wasn't much. But the Fallout 3 streams, we get quite a few people showing up usually, so that's interesting. I guess, well, yeah, whatever. The Soma thing didn't really matter because really I was just playing. I was gonna record it by myself, so really almost it just saves time for me to stream it. Because I don't have to render it or anything like that. I just, once I hit stop broadcast, it's just, alright, done. So yeah, that's not a big deal. So we did that. We also, I put up my unofficial trailer for Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I put up all my unofficial trailers on my old channel, which is Mangg. I'll link the Assassin's Creed one in the description for anybody that just wants a link to it. That was actually a funny one to edit because normally when I put together one of these trailers, I download all the official stuff. I download all the official trailers for the game that's why I usually wait till the game's about to come out because I want the most footage. So I download all that, and I just throw it together all in Premiere, and then I put my song of choice in there, and then usually I'll just kind of like hit play, and just kind of see what fits together, you know? Like really just almost no editing. I'll just take the official trailers, put my music on, mute the official ones, and just see how it sounds. And usually I get like a few ideas of how I want things to fit together from that. But the Assassin's Creed one, it was really funny because I basically just put one of the official trailers on, put my music on, and it's like it seemed like I could have just hit render and uploaded it. And at first I thought it was like, oh man, that's a really good sign, like this is really gonna work well. Then later I realized no, what it really meant was that all of their trailer footage is basically the same. Like, all the official trailer footage for the new Assassin's Creed is just basically random action sequences, random cinematic action sequences, just kind of thrown together with not a whole lot of connection or anything like that. And so basically, you could just put kind of any faster-paced rock song just over the footage, and just, boom, done. And so, yeah, I didn't really have to do a whole lot. You know, at that point, basically, I just try to make it so that the tempo of the song matches up with some sort of tempo with the video, and certain sort of audio cues kind of work well with the video, with kind of fade to blacks and, you know, jumps and cuts and things like that. I do what I can. So yeah, that trailer, it worked out all right. It's not my favorite trailer that I've done, but yeah, it was good, I guess. Like I put in the description, it's kind of like, it's just very kind of stylistic, but there's no like, the ultimate goal for when I put together these trailers is it kind of tells its own story and really shows what the game is like, but the Assassin's Creed one that I do really never do that. Not really at all, so. Yeah. So we didn't do roll manging last Sunday because we had some people that were missing. We should be doing roll manging tonight. We should be doing something. I'm not sure if it's gonna be Star Wars. It might be kind of a Halloween-related one-shot because Ziggy is gonna be gone for Halloween. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what we're gonna do. And then Ziggy's gonna be gone for maybe 2 Sundays, maybe just one. I'm not exactly sure. So I don't know. You know, the fate of the Star Wars campaign is kind of in the balance. We'll see what happens. Yeah. And then we also played Fallout 3 this week, which was good. I'm enjoying that, even though I'm pretty gimped. Looking forward to Fallout 4 a hell of a lot. And yeah, that's pretty much that. So we will be doing a live stream of Fallout 3, I believe, on Wednesday. Because I think I'm going to be busy on Monday. And then I think Friday I will do kind of a stream of just starting up Assassin's Creed Syndicate and me just kind of playing through the start of it. Just because, why not? So, for anybody that wants to tune in on Friday, that'll be that. But I'm busy. I don't want to do 3 streams in a row. Because I could do Soma on Thursday, but I don't know. That's kind of pushing it. Maybe. But Tuesday I'm going to go see Crimson Peak. Very excited about that. And then Monday I think we might be having tomorrow we might be having a game night, so. Yeah. The top 10 found footage horror movies might be coming this week, or it might be closer to Halloween. I'm not sure, because I still want to watch a few movies that might go on the list. Alright, so, as far as board gaming goes, I bought a bunch of games. Yeah, like I said, busy season of work means more money, means more board games I don't really need. Let's see, I bought 2 Rooms and a Boom. Because apparently I thought to myself, I really need a party game for more than 10 people at a time. I should buy this. They recently played it on, they put up a video on Shut Up and Sit Down of them playing through with like 20 people or something like that. And I've known about 2 Rooms and a Boom for quite a while because it was kind of a Kickstarter thing that was somewhat popular. Basically, you split up your party, your group, into 2 teams. And really, well, you split it up into 2 groups, I guess. And so one group goes into one room, the other group goes into a different room, so they can't really hear each other. And then you hand out random cards to every person. And at the most basic level, when you play the most basic version, you're gonna have 2 teams. You're gonna have red team and a blue team. So you might have a bunch of red and a bunch of blue in the same room at the start. You're not really sure. And it's kind of a hidden role game, so you're gonna keep this somewhat concealed. And one member of the blue team is the president. Very important. And one member of the red team is the bomber. And the red team's goal is at the end of the game to have the bomber and the president in the same room so that the bomber blows them up. The blue team's goal is to not have that happen. And so the game is played over a number of timed rounds, and each round is like 3 minutes or something like that. I think it is 3 minutes. And at the end of each round, the leader of each room, so each room has to appoint a leader. So even though you're on the blue team, you might have to appoint a red player as leader. You might not even know they're a red player because they could lie to you. And so the leader has to send over to the other room a number of hostages. And there's a chart for telling you how many hostages each round, blah, blah, blah. And so you have to send a number of appointed people over to the other room as hostages. And these could be players that you want to get rid of because they're not on your team. Or these could be players on your team that you want to send over as spies. Or this could be the bomber, or, you know, all sorts of different stuff that you're sending over there. And so the game's played over a number of these timed rounds. And at the end of the last round, then everybody shows their shit. And if the bomber and president are together, boom, boom. Otherwise, president lives and blah, blah, blah. And so it's a very, very social game, obviously. There's a lot of talking. There's a lot of lying. There's a lot of figuring out. You are allowed to show your cards if you want. You are allowed to show your cards, but you don't have to. Or you could just show, like, the color of your card instead of the actual, the roll that you have. And obviously, at the most basic version, it's just you're either red team or bomber or blue team or president, but they have a lot of different special roles that really mix things up. Where, like, you might have the devil card where you must always lie when asked any question, or the angel card where you always have to tell the truth, or the engineer or something, which for the red team to win, the engineer has to share their card with the bomber, otherwise the bomb doesn't work. Or just all sorts of different stuff. And so it seems like a game that you really can involve, like, a whole party with. You know? There's not really there's not really complicated rules or anything like that. It's pretty simple. It's a very social, kind of talkative game to just have everybody standing around in a party, just involved in this thing. So I figured, you know, I don't own that many party games, but the ones that I do own, like Spyfall is not really like, let's involve the whole party in this. You know, it's kind of a gamer's party game. Whereas this could be, you know, like my mom could play it or something like that. So I don't know. I can see playing it at some point, and so that's more optimistic than I have for a bunch of my games. Then I bought Pandemic Expansion on the Brink, I think. Yes. Which adds a few different stuff, but the reason I bought it is because it adds the bioterrorist, which is where one player controls a bioterrorist who is working against all the other players. And he's kind of moving around in secret and spreading disease and blah, blah, blah. And that kind of would fix my issue with playing Pandemic, which is an immensely popular game. It's won, like, the Dice Tower People's Choice for years. It's #1, and so I want to like it, but the whole alpha player thing really just bothers me. So I think I put TV there. That looks like a V. Damn it. So taking the alpha player out of the equation and putting him on the other side, working against him, yeah, then I could bring out Pandemic and I could be okay with it. So we'll see. Because I think that the family game night group, I think they would like co-op games, but I just don't tend to really bring them out. So we'll see how that goes. Then, finally, my pre-order shipped for Forbidden Stars and Mission Red Planet. It was waiting on Mission Red Planet for so damn long. Game finally came out, the reprint. So I got Mission Red Planet because, you know, people rave about it quite a bit, and they put out a reprint of it, and it's apparently pretty good. So I added that for maybe family game night. That could be good. And then I got Forbidden Stars. I'm not really sure why. In hindsight, I think I'd rather have Blood Rage in my collection than Forbidden Stars, but I'm sure I'll have both, so it's not a big deal. But apparently it can take like 5 hours to play or something ridiculous like that. If you have 4 people that haven't played, they're like, yeah, I expect like 5 hours. Like, Jesus, that's hefty. So I don't know when I'll ever get to play. See, I'm not sure I can envision playing it. Whereas 2 Rooms and a Boom, maybe. So that's on the way. Then I ordered. Oh, the cool stuff on, I don't know, that was like Wednesday or Tuesday or something like that. They added a bunch of new releases, and it was like, oh, Mysterium and One Night Revolution and Between Two Cities, and I'm like, screw it, add it all to the thing. So, yeah, Mysterium's on the way, which is kind of making the rounds of conversations, although some people are like, oh, the hype was too much, it didn't live up to it, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, okay. But it seems kind of up my alley, so I'm sad that I didn't have it in time for Spooky Board Game Night this weekend, but oh well. Then One Night Revolution, I don't know. It's like one night, it's like Resistance, it's like party stuff. I don't know. It wasn't that expensive. Maybe it'll get played. And then Between Two Cities, I didn't really have any much interest in it at all. It was a Kickstarter game, I think, from Stonemaier Games, which I don't own a single game from them. But people are just people love viticulture with the Tuscany expansion. They say it's just incredible. Palm Vassal puts it on like his top 10. He's crazy about it. So Stonemaier Games apparently has a good reputation, and they just launched their Scythe Kickstarter, which is like, apparently it's like Kemet meets Terra Mystica, I guess. So it's kind of like a economic or farming simulator, but also with area control and combat. And it's got artwork from this guy it's like 1920s alternate history with mechs and stuff, and it's just like crazy shit. And so that Kickstarter launched, and I went in for like $100 on it because I don't know. I originally was just like, oh well, you know, Stonemaier Games has really good rep. This looks really cool. I'll just go in for like 60. But then it's like, oh, you can go in for 80 and get this. With like, you can get like the deluxe version, or you can go in for 100 and get the collector's edition. It's like, like it's probably like $170 retail. So fine. It looks really cool. So then, Between Two Cities came out, which was another Stonemaier Games game that was on Kickstarter. And people are saying good things about that, so I'm like, fine, screw it. It's for like up to 7 people. It's kind of Seven Wonders-esque. How could we go wrong? So that was an order. And then finally I ordered Time Stories, because that was just released. And Ren mentioned Time Stories and how he liked it, so I was like, I've looked at it. I don't really know exactly how it plays because I don't go into too much detail, but I know it's a story-driven game. It's not too complicated. It's about kind of time travel, and it's about a story, and I like that, so sure, sign me up. Yeah, buy too much shit, I know. I'm a collector. Yeah. So that's good. That's good. So, speaking of that then, I didn't really play that much this week because the only time we played was yesterday, where we had our spooky board game night, which is kind of a yearly tradition I guess we're doing now. We did it last year, but all we did last year was play... We played one game of Letters from Whitechapel, where I won as Jack the Ripper. And then we just played a game of Cosmic Encounter, which I believe really pissed me off because that was the game that Ziggy's wife threw the game and handed it to him, and then I vowed to never play Cosmic with them again. So it wasn't a great spooky board game night last year. And so this year I had planned a bunch of stuff. I had planned to play Letters from Whitechapel again with maybe Ziggy being Jack the Ripper so I could join the hunt. And then I planned Dead of Winter because I really want to play that game more because, I mean, it was kind of a big deal and I don't think I gave it its fair chance. Then I also brought up Masquerade because that's kind of Halloween-esque with costumes and things like that. It's thematic, maybe. One Night Ultimate Werewolf, and Betrayal at the House on the Hill because that's like the most thematic spooky board game night that I own, I think. I mean, that is just pure haunted house horror generic kind of stuff. How could I not play that? Bloodbound I think I grabbed because I thought we might have more than 6 people, so I was like, okay, well, we need something kind of party-ish. So I grabbed Bloodbound because we were familiar with that. And then I also grabbed Codenames because it's like I think it is the #1 party game on BGG right now. It's #1 or #2. Like, it rocketed up there, and I think it was like #2 on like the board game subreddit list. Like, it's just ridiculously popular. People are talking all over the place. It's like, how can I not play this? So even though it's not thematic at all, has nothing to do with spookiness, this is like a 6-person group. This can work. I need to try it. So I went out shopping for the party. I bought like $40 worth of junk food because, like, I don't throw many parties and I didn't want to be like under-resourced. You know? Like, I'm not experienced with throwing parties. I don't know how much people consume or what I need or anything like that. So I bought like bags of chips and popcorn and Oreos and chocolate candy bars and all this soda, which my friend called me 12 because I said, oh, I have food, and then I listed off all that, and he called me 12, and he's like, well, I'm not going to serve like fucking goulash or something. Like, it's a party. What do you want from me? And so they ended up just eating some of the popcorn, I think drinking a couple sodas, and that was it. So now I have a lot of junk food that I don't really want. That's great. And so we started with Betrayal at the House on the Hill with 6 people. Full table for Betrayal. And we ended up, it was a fairly long game, actually. We almost went through the whole stack of tiles. Built up this huge house, this huge mansion, sprawling mansion. And we ended up getting haunt number 11, which is called Let Them In. And funny enough, I was the traitor. I was the traitor. I was playing as Flash, because I will only ever play as Flash in that game. And Flash had picked up a revolver early on. And Flash with the revolver is pretty insane. Because normally when you just, after the haunt triggers, if you want to attack something, you either use might normally, unless it's like a special thing, in which case you might use something else, but normally might. Flash does not have a high might. However, he has a very high speed. He has a starting speed of 6. The revolver lets you use speed instead of might. It gives you 1 extra dice when you're rolling with it. And then you can also attack from different rooms. So as long as you have like an uninterrupted line of sight, Flash can shoot somebody with a revolver and roll 7 dice. And they have to defend with speed. And so I was like, my god, this is a weapon. And so I ended up being the traitor. And it was something like basically, like, the mist around the house was, like, filled with specters, and so they were trying to come through the windows. So I had to put, like, these little tokens next to any window on a tile, and then I had to kind of go around the house and let the specters in so they could kill the other players. But I could also kill the other players, and then I also had, like, this madman with me who also could help me. Like, he was a beast! Like, he had 7 for all his stats, and he could run around and open up all the windows, and then he could also attack the players, and so they didn't stand a chance at all. Like, none of them were equipped for pretty much anything, and I had a lot of help and this revolver, and it's just, yeah, it was kind of a massacre. And I picked up, like, this adrenaline shot from one of the other characters after they died, and the adrenaline shot lets you, like, add 4 to any roll that you make. And so I did, like, an adrenaline shot revolver, and I rolled, like, 14 dots, which is, well, if you haven't played the game, you probably don't know, but it's ridiculous. It's astronomical. You will die. It's like an instant headshot. You're done. So that was good. I don't know if they were all... Some of them really liked the game. Some of them were a little like, this is completely unfair. And it is kind of a very variable game, I guess. You can just... Yeah, you can have situations like that. It's not really a balanced game or anything like that, but it's... I think it's meant to just be kind of light and fun, and I'm not going to bring it out often. It's just going to be kind of the spooky board game night of thing, but yeah, it's... I like it, but I also won, so... So then, we had 6 people sitting there, so Dead of Winter was out. We could have done Letters from Whitechapel, but my brother had expressed interest in playing that with us, and he wasn't ready until later. So that was out, so we could have done One Night Ultimate Werewolf or Bloodbound. But then they saw Codenames sitting there, and they saw that I had mentioned it before. I had mentioned how popular it was, and they're like, oh, we gotta try it. So we ended up going to Codenames, and we played that for the rest of the night. Literally, we did not play anything else. We played Codenames until people left. Which was about 7 rounds or so, I think. And, yeah, it's very good. It's very good. Codenames works like this. And I'm going to explain it to you, because I think people should probably own it. You split the group up into 2 teams. The red team and the blue team. And on each round, you're going to appoint somebody to be kind of the leader. And so this is going to kind of... you're probably going to cycle through your whole team with everybody getting to be the leader. And so the leaders are going to sit next to each other, and they're going to... Well, you're going to set up a 5x5 matrix of word cards. There are 200 cards that come in the game, and they're double-sided, so you have 400 different words. And these are all sorts of different kind of mundane things, like shoe, fighter, brick, house, mansion, New York, Australia, so on and so forth. And, God, I'm just getting massacred. So you're going to set up this 5x5 grid, and then the 2 leaders are going to draw a card that kind of shows... it's going to also show a 5x5 grid, but it's going to show different colors for each spot. God, oh my God. And, I'm probably gonna die here, so... So a number of the spots on the card will have blue spaces on them. A number will have red spaces on them. And your goal as the leader is to try to get your team to guess your words that correspond to the little card that show the colors. It's kind of hard. It's really easy to just show you, but to explain it with just words is tricky. Okay, so say some words that are on the table are hospital, cliff, dice, and shoot. And so, based on the little card that is only the leaders can look at this. Everyone else is hidden. So you need to get them to guess those words. And no other words. And so on your turn, you are going to give a one-word clue to try and connect these words together as a clue so that they can guess them. Chances are that you will not be able to come up with a one word that will tie together hospital, cliff, dice, and shoot. If you can think of one right now, I'd be very impressed, but chances are no. And then you're going to give the one word clue, and then you're going to give a number. And the number tells your team how many words that your clue is related to. So normally this is probably going to be around the 2 range, because that's safe. 1 is generally very easy. You can come up with a one-word clue to connect one word pretty much any time. So if you just want them to guess hospital, you might just say Doctor 1, and they'll probably get it. But 2 is generally what you want to go for, at the least, so you can stay competitive with the other team. 3 is like, if you get 3, that's a good turn. That is a good turn. We never saw anybody get more than 3, I don't think. You have to be very lucky with what words you got. And so then they try and guess it. So you might say to try and get dice and shoot, you might say, I don't know, rolling 2 or casino 2 or something like that, because, you like shoot the dice, or I don't know. Anyways. And so then they try and guess this. And while they are trying to guess, you must stay absolutely silent. And you cannot say anything, you cannot gesture anything, you cannot make faces, nothing. You must stay completely silent while they talk about it. And they will try to get your number of words, but they can also do one extra word. So if they guess your 2, they can also go for a third one if they want. Technically, well, we played the rules wrong last night. We played that you could just keep guessing as much as you wanted, but nobody ever went for more than one extra guess, because it's foolhardy. Because you can guess your own words, which is good. That helps you win. But you might guess wrong, and you might accidentally guess one of the other team's words, which is pretty bad. You can also guess a neutral word, which is just a gray card, and it doesn't really help you at all. It ends your turn right away when you guess it, but it doesn't really hurt you. But it does like eliminate options on the board that people could guess. But that also helps the other team. So you don't really want to go for neutral cards. It's just not really helpful. However, there's one final card. One final spot on the board is for the assassin. The assassin word. And so if any team member guesses the assassin word, that team automatically loses, and the game is over. So, sometimes the assassin word will really not be a concern at all. One of the rounds that I played as a leader, the assassin word was ham. And nothing had anything else to do with ham or butchery or meat or anything. The closest we got was, like, I think somebody used the word doctor as a clue. And one of the person was like, well, Sometimes doctors have to go ham on their patients. But it can also be really freaking terrifying, because what if you had those same 4 words, hospital, cliff, dice, and shoot. Those were your words you needed them to guess. But the assassin word was ambulance. Good luck having them guess hospital and not ambulance. Because if they guess ambulance, you lose instantly. And so it's really tense when you're the leader and you are trying to, like, you're listening to them, like, work their logic through, and you are just staring at that little card and looking at that little assassin symbol, and you're like, don't you fucking see it? The closest I think I got was my first game, or everyone's first game. I was the leader, and 2 of our words were boot and tie. And so I said shoe 2. And they got boot very quickly. That was easy, no problem. And then they were like, well, tie could work. You like shoe, you tie your shoe. But then they were like, oh, well, what about slip? Like you slip your shoes on, or slippers. And slip, of course, was the assassin word. And I'm just like, shut your whore mouth. Luckily, they did not guess slip. And so, yeah, it's a very different experience from being the leader to being just a player, a guesser. It's wildly different. It's both very entertaining. There is some potential for downtime as for the leaders as they try and think of the right clue. They do include a timer in the box, and for certain groups, you probably want to utilize it. But you can just, like, I understand. Like, normally I never take time for anything. Like, I'm always just ready to go for any game, just boom, boom, boom. But, yeah, when you start out first round in Codenames as the leader, and you are just looking at the sea of words, and you're trying to connect all of them at once, and it's just like, I need the perfect clue. And then you end up just going for 2 because you just want to do something. Yeah, it's tense. It's not really like... It's not like a game for geniuses or anything like that. It's really... Yeah, I'd say it's probably the best party game I own. It's really well put together. And it's just freaking hilarious. Which is what you want in a good party game. We were laughing the entire time just at some of the stupid shit that people were saying. Or just some of the stupid... Like, they weren't looking at cards and, like... One of my friends was our leader for our group, and he said Asia 2. And so we got Tokyo right away. That was pretty easy. But then we're like, what else is related to Asia? And so we saw Dragon. And we're like, okay, dragons, you know, they're not exclusive to Asia, but they definitely, dragons are a part of that culture. So Chinese dragon, blah, blah, blah. So we're like, all right, dragon. And the red team put down a card on it. And it was not ours. We're like, what the hell, man? He's like, oh, I didn't even see dragon. He didn't even see the card. It was, yeah, that's, yeah. So yeah, you need to look at all 25 cards pretty closely. But the funniest thing from the whole night was the other team's leader, my buddy Bobby. He was the leader, and his clue... It took him a while to say it. He's like, all right, listen really closely. Bearer 2. So the word was bearer. So the red team guessed ring right away. So ring bearer. So they got that, but they were wondering about the other one. And one of the words was kid. And so they started like going through kind of their logic out loud. You know, they're verbalizing their logic for what they think it should be. And they're like, well, most ring bearers are kids, so that's probably what he was going for. I don't know if I really see anything else here that would make sense for ring or for bearer. So all right, we're gonna go with kid. And he's just like, that was the fucking assassin. Kid was the assassin, and he said bearer. And ring was on there. Like, he did not follow that logic along. So you know what word he was thinking of for the other word for bearer? Honey. Because bears like honey. That was his logic. And his team was not on board. And so, boom, game instantly over because of the worst freaking clue that we ever heard. And yeah, so it was a lot of fun. Like, we played 7 rounds, and we probably, I think a bunch of us wanted to play for another couple hours. But some of us apparently go to bed very early, so the night ended. So yeah, it wasn't really, it was not what I expected for another spooky board game night. Apparently fitting in more than 2 different games into a night is apparently tough. But I don't really regret it because Codenames is really freaking good, and I recommend that everybody pick it up. Although I think it's kind of hard to find right now because everybody wants it, but I'm glad I own it. It's probably my favorite party game. Anytime we have 6 or more people, I can see myself bringing it. Very fun. Very easy to play. Yeah, so that was good. Let's see then. Friday. Okay, so Friday there was a Halloween party at this guy's house that I don't care for. And I was not invited to this party, despite being friends with him on Facebook, and despite there being an event, I was not invited. And I didn't really care, because this was not going to be a good party. But a couple of my friends kind of convinced me to go. And I'm like, really what it came down to is like, maybe something funny will happen there that I can share on Hanging with Mangg. And that's why I decided to go. And so it was a Halloween party on October 16th. So, yeah. Because nobody would actually give up their Halloween to go to this guy's house. And, yeah, so I dressed up in my Flash shirt, an afro from a couple of years ago, and kind of like a creepy skull mask from last year. And I said I was the Black Flash. Haha, double entendre, so on and so forth. I didn't really care. I'm not going to put effort into this party. I'm only going to be there for like an hour and a half. And, yeah, so I get there, and it's pretty much exactly what we expected. It's most of this guy's, like, family members, including like, his, like, aunts and uncles. And they're playing, like, beer pong in his basement. And my group of friends are all just standing in a corner, just talking to each other. It's like, yeah, this is exactly what I expected. And so they didn't, the guy didn't say anything to me that I wasn't invited or anything like that. I don't know if he even cared. He didn't say a word to me, and I didn't say a word to him, and that's how it's meant to be. I was like, well, maybe there'll be a chick there, a single chick, who knows? Nope, not a one. Not a single available single girl there. There was one chick who was not with any guy. But then we all saw the ring on her finger, and we're like, well, there you go. This is apparently like a couple's party or something like that. That's why all of his aunts and uncles are here. So, yeah, I pretty much was there for like an hour and a half or 2 hours and just kind of stood around with my group of friends, and then that was it. And that was my Friday night. Yep. I tried for you guys. I wanted something funny to happen. I wanted something crazy to go on. But no, that was the lamest party ever. So that's good. And then Saturday, I went over to my friend's house, and the 3 of us, we played the demo for the new Triforce Heroes game the new Zelda game for 3DS that comes out on Friday. Because we all own 3DSs and we all have nothing better to do. So we all tried it, and because he had gotten like a demo code and it gives you 2 codes to give to friends, so it's like, okay, let's try it. So I get there promptly at 4 o'clock. My other friend gets there at 4:20, and he, like, he hadn't downloaded the demo, and he hasn't updated his 3DS in a long time, so he had to update that, and the Wi-Fi there was so slow, we didn't actually get around to playing the demo till like 4:45 or something. And then the demo was only like 15 minutes long. And it wasn't a very impressive demo, because it's kind of a weird Zelda game. It's not like Link to the Past or anything like that. It's level based, or at least the demo was, and it seemed like it was implied that the whole game was going to be level based. Because they showed other levels that we could not play. We could only play as one level. And, yeah, I mean, there's, like, teamwork involved, because there's 3 of you, and you can totem up, and you kind of have to work together for certain things. And the boss battle was actually kind of cool, because you did have to work together to beat it. You could not beat it by yourself, so that's kind of cool. It wasn't a very impressive demo, but I think it did convince us to get it, because you only need 1 copy of the game for 3 people to play, because one person buys it and the others just click download play, I guess, or something like that. And so 3 people can play off 1 cartridge, which is really cool. It's like $13 for us to play the game. I guess we found out that only 1 person will have, like, their shit saved, I guess. Only 1 person can, like, get new outfits that give new abilities and stuff, whoever owns the game. And so we thought about it, but we're like, okay, it's $13 or it's $40. I think I'll live with not getting more stuff. We can just play the game. So, yeah, I guess we're gonna pick that up, and maybe whenever we're together, which is quite a bit, we'll just play some Triforce Heroes, because I'm a huge Zelda fan. I mean, I guess I'm determined to play them all. Yeah. And then we hit up some T-Bell. And there was a girl there that looked just like Abigail Breslin, and that was cool. That was cool. Yeah. So then we did the game night, and then afterwards we were like, well, you know, it's 11 o'clock on a Saturday. We're not just going to go home and sit there, so let's go to Applebee's. And so we went to one of the other Applebee's we haven't been to in like 6 months. We used to go there because they had the best food, and then we just switched to the other one because of the chicks, I guess. But we went back there for the sake of it, and we were not impressed. The food has gotten worse. It was kind of dead there. The staff was not attractive, which is shallow, I know. And, yeah, nothing really to say about that at all. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. So all in all, it was an okay weekend. Codenames was really good. I want to play more of it. I want to play more of it. We might be switching, like, our game nights to Monday, and we might be getting some new people with one of the guy's coworkers. So maybe, like, if I can get, man, like, that's dream state stuff with a weekly group of 6 people to play some serious board games. Like, that's my dream life right there. That's the good life. So fingers crossed on that. I mean, yeah, I really want to play like Imperial Assault. I want to play like Risk of Legacy. I want to play Archipelago. I want to play many things, many things. So that would be nice. But alright, I guess that wraps it up. Not much else to say. So, yeah, Wednesday, Fallout 3 stream. Check that out. That'll be good. Friday, probably Assassin's Creed. I don't know how much more we have left of Until Dawn, but we do have a couple weeks-ish of October left, so I'm not too concerned. There'll be more Stasis. Soma, I'm not sure. I might just do the second part of Soma on my own. Or it might be an impromptu stream on Thursday. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That'll be this week. And then roll manging probably tonight, I would think. So that's something, and that is something. Alright, so my name is Mangg. This has been Hanging with Mangg. And I'll see you fine folks next week.